Watch me be really bad at drawing while I lord up about Pokemon Gym and Jewel because my life priorities have gotten taken. So that sucks. So yeah, the game starts like any normal game. You choose a starter, you introduce to your 5 friends, Sarah, David, Jane, and the other one, Grayson. Grayson gets an Eevee, Jane gets a Pichu, not a Pikachu, to hell with Pikachu. Sarah gets the fire starter if you choose any of the other 2 starters, and David just gets whatever starter you didn't choose, or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's actually going to be programmed where, as long as you don't pick the fire starter yourself, Sarah will choose the fox thingy. But as you get your new starters, you're introducing yourself to them and stuff like that, you actually encounter the evil team for the first time. Like, action is starting immediately. Here's the evil team. Kill him. Kill him. Do it. They try to kill you with their Scyther, or whatever it is, or the bug. And, you kill it. Well, not really, you don't actually kill it, you just defeat it. Then they run off, and you save a guy, and he gives you 25 Pokeballs. And it goes sort of similar, just completely normal. Until it's not. Just you do gym battles, you fight Pokemon, you survive against their attacks. You encounter the evil team several times. They are persistent in the lives of other people. And then you get to the lake. The lake which has a shiny crocodile thingy. Also, I accidentally made Lavender Star like a short hair instead of a long hair in one of her designs, which is kind of dumb. She is a gorgeous gal. It's great. Anyways, so people exist. Everyone is all freaking out. Everyone's like, oh my goodness, this sparkling lady of the lake sparkling queen of the lake is gonna kill us all. Honestly, the sparkling queen of the lake sounds like a drag queen name, but that doesn't really matter. So you end up catching the thing, you show it to, what's-their-faces, and they're like, oh my god, I've never seen a shiny before. Yeah, you even encounter Ingo and Emmett for the first time. They're on vacation because Unova's very close by. And they're like, oh my god, a shiny. I've never seen one before because we're lame as fuck. And, yeah, you don't see him again till the climax of the game after you become champion. And, there's technically 2 climaxes of the game. Team Sonar decides to upgrade their terrorist organization to a war crime segment. They invade a bunch of regions. And oh cool, they keep people hostage and threaten to kill them. The team leader, Sile, it's like Kyle, but with an S. He kind of just shows up. Then he kidnaps he doesn't kidnap. He holds people hostage and threatens to kill them. This gets prominent in the Unova region, where the entire battle subway is threatened with a Volcarona, even though all they could do is throw a little pebble at that thing, it would turn into atoms. Sile's team consists of a Cantonian Ninetales, but not really Cantonian Ninetales, an Alolan Ninetales, a Volcarona, a Rhyperior, a Sylveon, and a Lapras. So he's sort of good. All of his Pokemon have perfect IVs and perfect movesets. And once you defeat him for the final time, well, not really the final time, once you beat him while you're in the battle subway, then you don't see those stupid bosses until the climax of the game. So, after you beat him for the last time in his own little base, he gets super mad and he tries to kill you with his 9 tails. Both of them. But then your friends save your little pathetic life. They all fight a little bit and then they run away. Then you become champion with all of your nice little group of 6 Pokemon, soon to be 7. 6 or 7. Kill me right now. So you become champion and you are celebrating, yay! But then meanwhile in the shadows, Sile is really butthurt about getting beat, so he kills you. No, just kidding. Instead, he releases 3 evil demons in an attempt to kill everyone. And since those Pokemon are intelligent, he's actually spared. Because he freed Bastinero and all the other 2. Which, the other 2 weren't exactly sealed away. They're kind of just doing their own thing. But anyway, yeah, Sile releases an evil Pokemon. He makes friends, sort of, with that evil Pokemon. And then, and by friends, I mean Bastinero lets him live. He starts destroying the entire darn world very quickly. And your friend, specifically the one with the Eevee, Grayson, whose Eevee is now an Umbreon, you have to run to the Unova region like a bunch of little babies. And then you see the entire New York City personification just in shambles. The zesty Ferris wheel of doom destroyed. Absolutely demolished. You then go into thy battle subway, and then you see the white one just getting mauled by a rabid Reshiram. And somehow he doesn't die. You have to escape into the woods, where you find Felistorno just in a seal. He's just kind of hanging out. And then he comes out because Emmett, being a clumsy little shit, just accidentally cracks the ice, which ain't good. But thankfully it's not actually a pond, it's just an icy seal. So then you pull him out. Well, he kind of pulls himself out of the ice. Then he explains to you that the entire darn world is ending and we gotta do this. We gotta form a union. We gotta fight this thing off. We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame. And basically you form a group called the Coalition, and everyone is super stoked that the world is ending and that they get to do something that's not in their respective games, which is very cool. Emmett is a little too excited for the world possibly ending from a rabies outbreak or whatever shit. All of the legendary Pokemon, including Palkia, are just kinda absolutely out of their goddamn minds. First of all, we gotta stop them from taking over this darn country. Not really. Taking over the world is more of an understatement. Also, Lavender Star is traumatized now. That's cool. I'm drawing Lavender Star before she got her injury, and then while she has her injury and it's all bloody and gross. Anyways, so yeah, Lavender Star is cool. I think she's very pretty looking. Anyway, Emmett tells Ingo about this, and Ingo is even more excited. Then they both are kind of just comic relief characters for the entire thing. But that's important later. Anyway, they'll be important later. You then have to fight. Of course you go to Palkia first, because Palkia is, kind of important for the world to not collapse. So yeah, they go around, Dialga decides to help them to save Palkia. So they all fight Palkia. The world almost ends ×2. And after that, Palkia is freed and he escapes. But he agrees with Dialga that both of them will come to help when they need it. Then they disappear. So they go around fighting other legendaries, including Ho-Oh, Lugia, Raikou, and Suicune. Entei is fine. He survives. The Sword and Shield Pokemon, specifically Zacian, Bacon, I don't care what she's called. And, fun fact, Felistorno was killed by the legendary Pokemon Zacian after he tried to kill her. Which is insane. Anyways, they fight a bunch of legendaries. They're not really important at the moment. People get injuries. Cool. They decide that they need more members. And they decide to leave a small portion at the remains of Nimbasa City, which is mostly destroyed, but it's the base camp. This people includes Sarah, Paul, Hilda, Hilbert, aka the Black and White 1 protagonists, Ingo, and 2 Battle Subway employees that survived are all left in charge along with all of their Pokemon, and there's even a couple Pokemon from the casualties that also survived the city being fucking destroyed. So yeah, they never end up getting more of those members. They just kind of walk around trying to find survivors to join their group. And then, after a while they're going to the Paldea region, Felistorno feels a great disturbance in the force and realizes that the Evil Three and a whole fucking army of Matter Beasts have invaded Nimbasa City and that they need to get back now, even though it's probably too late. Oh no! Anyways, wow, this is really bad. So everyone starts freaking out, losing their shit, and they have to run back to Unova while just kind of getting, like, speed-ups from Felistorno or something. I don't know. So they come back and realize that it's way too quiet for a whole battle to be happening right now. And they realize that, yep, it's too late. Fuck. That's really bad. They find everyone dead. They find all 58 of those people in Pokemon dead. All were horribly murdered, mauled, each of them having a blood-soaked spiral symbol in their head to represent Bassonero attacking them. Because, like, guys, look, I killed these people. That's great. Everyone is horribly traumatized now, and everyone's shaken up, everyone's flipping the hell out, which is honestly kind of reasonable, because if you saw a bunch of your group members dead with a weird cult symbol on it, you would also probably be freaking the hell out. Anyway, everyone is just kind of uncomfortable. Felistorno was like, oh shit, I killed these people, whoopsies. He didn't actually kill them, but he does blame himself for it, which is honestly kind of stupid. Whoopsies. Anyway, oh shit, sorry Lavender Star. Anyway. Emmett sees his brother's body and he loses his shit. By losing it, I mean he breaks down. He goes from a comic relief character to a comic depressed character. And for the rest of the game, he doesn't smile. Despite what he's well known for. Honestly, I think that's kind of a depressing detail. So, yeah, David is also breaks down because his sister was there, and they were also twins, which could be potentially sort of important later, but not really. It's just a detail I decided to add. So yeah, everyone's freaking out. Emmett has to be held back by several people, including a fucking legendary, to be kept away from a gross dead body. He's like freaking out, he's sobbing hysterically, and everyone sort of just like feels bad for him, but at the same time they're just like, shut up, stop crying, it's not that big of a deal. And they kind of bury them, and Emmett just wants to be left there to die, because he might as well be, apparently. They don't, they again have to drag him along with them. And Felistorno feels especially bad for him But he's also scared because he remembers his past with his sister that died and that he ended up joining a horrible cult that murders things and wants to destroy the world. He's scared that someone else will end up like him, and he's basically just a sort of therapist, emotional support kitty for the rest of the game. And Feli Storno is, like, very fond of Emmett now, and it's just like, it's okay, buddy, you don't need to be so depressed. And, Emmett eventually sees David as, like, a son to him because they both relate to each other, especially after what happened. Emmett is constantly freaking out in his sleep, crying out for his brother in his sleep, which is kind of depressing. But thankfully, Feli Storno is there to be an emotional support cat and help the baby fall back to sleep. After finally technically freeing all the Legionnaires, aka beating them to a point of near death, causing them to fade away into the matter dimension. The Abyssal Forest, which is a scary place, is where the Dark Pond, which is what it's called by people, but its actual name is the Deep Dark Pond. So they're kind of close. And, but first they have to fight Goldolin, who is basically just like the Satan that lives around there. And then they have to fight Forestano, which is in this scary fucking swamp. And, it's a swamp. They fight the swamp. We are ones with the swamp. Also, look, I finished... Here's a traumatized, blood-soaked cat that I drew. Huh. Anyways. I see, the light. So they go there after beating the hell out of Forestano and Goldolin. They encounter Dark Ella, who is looking for Light Ella, who is currently trapped in the matter dimension and probably frenzified. It's called frenzified when a Pokemon is corrupted by Bassonero. So they go in there, and they all start fighting, and there's a bunch of matter beasts freaking out, and they find out ghosts can die. Yeah, this is some Warrior Cats type shit, where ghosts can just die. They can get killed, they can bleed, they can die. Which is very bad. But before they go in, they encounter a bunch of ghosts who's just been stalking them the whole time. Feli Storno knew this the entire time because he can see ghosts. He can see invisible matter beasts before they attack. And he has been tormented by these ghosts who are like, "Oh, we're dead! Did we mention that we're dead?" And, he gets so horrified of the visions and ghosts and stuff that he sees that he tries to claw his eyes out. And then, he and the Chandelure that is the sole survivor of the Great 58 slaughter event is, they all both work together to make the ghosts have their physical forms, because ghosts have two different forms where they can interact with the physical world, but they can also get hurt and die from other ghosts and living things. And their non-physical forms that they're usually in. Ghosts need a bunch of energy in order to have physical forms like that. And thankfully, Chandelure and Feli Storno help them with that by giving them the energy that they need. Then they all start fighting. They find out ghosts can die. Specifically, ghosts when they have their physical forms. And, Emmett just holds on to Ingo and clings to him because he's scared that he'll die again. And Ingo's actually kind of annoyed by this. Just like, ugh, gross. Feli Storno sees his sister again after, like, millions of years. because she decides to come down with all this. And they fight. David gets the Bite of 87 treatment and just gets annihilated by Basanero, but it's okay because he's a living thing, and he can be a ghost anytime he wants. Felistorno goes into a violent rage and uses the power of blunt force trauma to finally defeat Basanero once and for all. Yay! Then you catch it in the Master Ball, and even then, Basanero is barely just caught in the Master Ball. And the world is finally not ending anymore. Oh, the duality. The world has finally been saved. The ghosts start to disappear. Felistorno's like, okay, bye, see you in another 100-something million years. To his sister, and Emmett just kind of clings on to Ingo's like, no, don't go to the afterlife, please. I'm lonely. Or some shit like that. Ingo says, lol, and then disappears. No, he didn't actually say that. It's just to keep this a little bit more lighthearted, you know. Yeah. And then at the very end of the game, before post-credits, they're all sitting in the Garden of 58. Everyone's sad, especially Emmett, who's crying his eyes out. Felistorno can probably see the ghost, but he just doesn't care. As they walk away, the ghosts appear. The ghosts of the Grave 58 appear. Also David here, but he doesn't count as one of them. Stupid David thinking he's involved. And, yeah, the ghosts appear. They're all like, yay. Then they disappear just before Felistorno can catch them in sight. Then the post-credits roll. I decided to keep this lighthearted, but, I could make a more serious lore dump if you want, but I decided to keep this a little bit more lighthearted because the story overall is very depressing, especially with Emmett and Ingo, and probably Felistorno's entire goddamn backstory, to be honest with you. Yeah, I just kind of made this as a joke, but this is actual lore dump. The actual plot is pretty serious and, again, very depressing. But if you want a more serious, more detailed lore dump, maybe I'll make it. And maybe it'll be on my YouTube and both TikTok, I don't know. My YouTube is Jellyfish Cat, by the way. Go subscribe. Subscribe, damn you. Subscribe.